Welcome to another exciting episode of the Silver Screen Conference. I'm your host, as always, Digimon11, joined today with Jova Hexion.
Yo, yo, yo!
Kitty, slash Hero. Hey, Jiro.
Yup.
And Tio's here. For some
All
reason.
your Pokemon are belong to us.
Dads, Tio's literally been here for the last...
No, I skip Mewtwo returns.
I thought we ditched him in Italy. I mean, what?
It's funny you mention Italy, because Italy makes a cameo in this movie.
I'm not allowed anymore because I don't like child characters in Pokemon, apparently.
That's the reason why I was like...
Which is a good segue to what's today's specimen.
Yeah, so, we did it. We're not in the Johto region anymore. We're in Hoenn.
My favorite
And I'm kind of getting a bit ahead of myself, but it seems that we have, at the very least, 3 more good Pokemon movies ahead of us.
We'll see.
I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but yeah, I find this one of the good Pokemon movies. And trust me, I was not expecting to like this one. I honestly remembered... Well, not so much hating the movie as a whole, but hating a certain character and finding it annoying.
So, Jova, what's the title of today?
Pokemon Jirachi Wishmaker!
And in Japanese, Pocket Monsters Advanced Generation the movie, Wishing Star of the Seven Knights, Jirachi.
And Knuckles.
Sure.
Featuring Dante.
So anyway,
of the new people, for the context of the anime, like Jova mentioned, again, Ash has traded not just his usual garments for a new spiffy one that I really like, but also has ditched Misty for 2 new people. May and I think it's her brother, Max?
Yes.
Max.
Okay,
Max.
Can someone briefly tell me, what was the reason? Because Max is not a character from the games. The closer we get is like that child that lives in Professor Birch's house that was even retconned, Mega Rupee Alpha Sapphire anyway, so...
It's because Misty was called to return to Cerulean Gym.
No, that I understand. I just want to know why they add also Max, why the executive added Max other than May.
Oh,
They want to do something new, I guess. Actually... Well, let me look this up.
Well, in the meantime, Jova, please tell us what this merry band is up to now.
Although there is some interesting trivia about Max. Design-wise, he's based off Iwata's son.
Interesting. So anyway, this movie's main location, instead of being Italy this time, is based on Wulingyuan, which is located in the Hunan province of China. Interestingly enough. By the way, this came along with the short Gotta Dance, in case you're curious.
I think it was only for the American version. I think I checked in the meantime. I think most of the Pikachu shorts were tagged on only in the American versions, while in Japan they were only, separated.
Either way, we didn't watch that.
Yeah.
Alas.
Yeah, that's a good segue. Again, I'm kind of fresh on this one because after Pokemon Heroes, I never bothered with most of the other OVAs, so this is actual uncharted territory for me.
So, shall we begin our plot synopsis?
Yeah. Again, what are Ash and the others up to now?
Basically, Ash and the others are going to a new location called Farina, somewhere located in the Hoenn region. And, well, yes, by the way, and yes, all the legendaries previously do get a cameo. Even Mewtwo, who's sporting a pretty interesting cloak here and there. I do wonder if this is to imply that Mewtwo is secretly following around Ash and company. Oh, and I will get back to that in a little bit in another theory that I've heard arisen. But regardless, though, we're going to Farina, essentially a place out in a rock quarry here and there. And it's a story revolving around a Millennium Comet. It's basically one that appears for 7 days, once every 1,000 years. And this one involves, you guessed it, a legendary Pokemon. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. first, let's start with the opening. Ash and company come across a self-building theme park of all things, which may or may not be owned by this magician named Butler.
Yeah, that's a dumb name, regardless who came up with that. But,
hey, look. The name Butler worked in Artemis Fowl, but maybe not as much here.
What I found kind of amusing from that scene is the fact that Ash, May, Max, and Brock are just walking around in the middle of the desert. They see this convoy arriving. They do nothing because they're mostly just staring in amazement. And then they see the circles building around them, and nobody is telling them to like move aside or just wait until the place is ready to stare around and ask questions. No. They're perfectly fine building this thing around them.
You see, Tio, the stage, it's built in a way that it can detect when people are around, so it knows to build around them.
Admittedly, it's kind of pretty cool. It's kind of like a gigantic Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah. One thing I will say is that, once again, the animation is pretty stellar for this one, and it's thankfully, a much better step up from the dips in quality we got with 4 and, to a lesser extent, 5. Oh yeah, that's right. Speaking of 5, Latios and Latias also showed up for a bit here and there.
Yeah, again, in the narration, it's narrated by Mike Pollock, of all people. Yeah, we literally get all the legendaries that show up until this point in the OVAs.
That's
including
the thing, Mike.
Ho-Ho for some reason.
That's the thing.
And we won't see him for another 14 movies. Specials.
Anyway, that's the thing, Tio. Like, Mike Polk is one of the most well-known of the Pokemon narrators, actually. I'm surprised you didn't know he was a Pokemon narrator.
Like he said, I'm used to just the Italian dub with a side of the Japanese one.
Of course, yes. So yeah, theme park here and there. And so our heroes, after enjoying some of the festivities, go to see the Magician's Show, done by this guy named Butler and his assistant Diane. So Max notices something calling to him. He hears voices in his head coming from an ominous crystal that Diane is carrying, which compels him to.
Crystal.
What? So that means it's gonna get canned by Netflix unfairly? I kid. Even though that's exactly what happened. Damn you! But
also,
anyway,
Team Rocket is here, and thankfully, compared to the previous 2 movies, they actually do something a bit more interactive with the main character because they pull one of their shtick and disguise as clowns in order to kidnap Pikachu. I think the last time they did that in the movies was with the Viking stunt in the first movie. That's saying a lot.
Well, unless we count Mewtwo Returns, where they did actually catch Pikachu with the electric rubber cable.
My bad.
But yeah, fair enough. You weren't around for that one. But Team Rocket actually do put on a rather interesting performance in stealing Pikachu and other Pokemon. Thankfully, Butler puts a stop to that and literally sends them flying to the point where the crowd inside the tent think it was all part of a show here. However, Max has started to bond even deeper with this crystal here, as he and Ash were used as part of Butler's disappearing act earlier on. It turns out that legend is that every 1,000 years, the legendary Pokemon Jirachi, the Wishmaker, can come back. However, it requires several items. 1, it requires the falling of the comet, and it requires the will of a true friend. I'll admit, when I first heard this, I kind of rolled my eyes at the thought here, but this is where the movie surprised me. I actually do get the bond between Max and Jirachi, weirdly enough, which is something that Pokemon Forever failed hard and miserable at.
It's definitely less creepy at the very least.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, the movie focuses way more on Butler's backstory. If it focused more on them, maybe, but they don't focus on it enough for me.
Yeah, I'd say there was enough, honestly, to get it. At least for me, but whatever. Regardless. Yes,
You sure?
About the creepiness factor, I think it also helps that Jirachi is portrayed as childlike, at least. So
it's more of a kindred spirit more than anything.
Yeah.
Whereas Celebi felt more like an adult masquerading as a child so he can play with some kids.
Ew.
And don't even... Hey!
Stop.
And yet that's still not as creepy as Latias went.
No. But thankfully we're out of there. Let's continue, Jova.
Yes.
So anyway, the time of the comet comes and May gets a, well, Dreamcatcher by the looks of it, but
Yeah,
in the terms
very-
of them,
like,
it
a couple
supposedly is a wishmaker device of
Yeah, a
sorts.
couple of stereotypes of Native American for good measure. Why not?
I'm not quite sure that was meant to be a stereotype of it.
Yes,
I didn't get that inkling.
The both design and the fake Dreamcatcher are basically a gigantic, nod to that.
Then why not just make it a Dreamcatcher then? And to be fair, apparently it is still also a thing in the Japanese version, so it's not like
I'm not even stating otherwise. But yeah, the gist is that it's composed by I think seven
seven ones.
pieces. You need to block each one of them by night, and by the seventh one, your wish will be granted. Supposedly, I can't wait to see what the payoff of this is.
Oh yeah, totally, because that is legit a running theme throughout the movie here and
We'll
there.
get to it.
So anyway, Max is able to help Jirachi come out with some assistance by Miss May, who gives a lullaby of sorts, which is essentially the theme of this movie, in the sense that it will be the theme you hear a lyrical version of during the credits here. Sort of similar to The Power of One. Not as badass as that theme, though, I'll admit. But still a nice one. So, out cometh Jirachi. And yes, it's literally a Pokemon who's a wishing star. Like, I'll give Jirachi this, he definitely has a nice enough design, and his voice thankfully isn't annoying. So, of course, Jirachi can grant wishes. At a price, though. Max tries wishing for a lot of candy, and Jirachi gives it by having to take candy from a stand in the festival, essentially.
Whoops.
Yeah, like, okay, it's hard for me to gauge where Jirachi is on the Jackass Genie scale. Like, I get the feeling that Jirachi doesn't mean for that to happen, but I'm guessing that's just the nature of his powers as opposed to being
Again, Java, I
how
think
he does it.
We're going for the whole childlike kind of thing, so it's like thinking the easiest solution that a child could think, oh, there's a bunch of candy nearby, I'll use that. Poof.
That's kind of ironic, given where things get towards in the climax regarding how his wishes get granted. But overall, the idea seems to be, yeah, we probably should not make wishes because, well, yeah, stuff can easily go screwy here and there.
And besides, Jirachi apparently has to recharge batteries every 2 wishes or something. The poor fucker cannot stay up for long.
I guess it's a way to thankfully not have him be overpowered like a certain legendary Pokemon who just will not die, as Shirai put it.
Team Rocket even briefly discusses, if they manage to capture Jirachi, they could actually try to wish like 100 wishes or something. But alas,
I mean, if you have a genie and they say you can make 3 wishes, I'm sure there's the loophole to that. It's like, oh, I wish for infinite wishes.
Deja, never play Dungeons and Dragons. Players will always try to find, a proper phrasing for making the perfect wish that cannot be exploited in any capacity.
Oh, no. I have a way to exploit it. I wish for infinite wishes, and my next wish is I wish for you not to be deceitful and give me what I want, actually.
But we're digressing. Go on, Drova.
Yeah, so anyway, Jirachi is out and about, so we're all good, right? Well, not entirely. Well, okay, so Butler and Diane let the group basically, stay in their bus, essentially.
Yeah,
and they're even gonna let them
cooperative with them. Very friendly with these random stranger they just met.
Yeah, they're even willing to let them be in the show and all of that. All is good. All seems good. And then Absol shows up. Yep.
Alright.
Absol is a major player in this film. Yeah, this is a weird thing. Around this time, it felt like the trend was to have a main legendary Pokemon tethered in with, well, a Pokemon that I don't think the Pokemon Company was trying to decide if they should make legendary or if they should just have be, normal, essentially.
I feel like this was we want to make this Pokemon popular.
That too, yes, but I mean, to be fair, it's not just this. It also happens in the later movie, and of course happens in Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Yeah, that's literally
how Lucario became super popular.
Yeah.
Poor Zoroark.
We'll get to him eventually. But yeah, Absol is here. I'll admit, Absol does have a nifty design, but for what reason he is here, we do not know yet. However, what does happen is that he shows up and attacks Max and Jirachi. Holy crap! Like, I'm not kidding. He literally pops through the glass like it's a horror film. It seems like he's trying to kill them. Thankfully, Butler comes to the rescue with a Pokemon-proof cage to prevent Absol from getting out and wreaking havoc.
I need to point this out. Throughout the entire attack, Absol uses one of his signature attacks, using the half-moon shape of his horn to release an energy blade. The moment he gets captured in the cage, he stops using that attack, which would probably be very easy to cut through, the bars, and instead tries to just ram into it. It's like he loses completely its intelligence.
To be fair, it's implied that the Pokemon cage is immune to his attacks on the inside here and there, and given how apparently Absol is portrayed as being super smart in this movie, I guess he just knows it wouldn't work, so he gave up. Whatever. So anyway, show goes on, night comes, and May once again folds another flap on the not Dreamcatcher to help the dream eventually come true, because, again, using Jirachi as a wishmaker is kinda dangerous. Speaking of dangerous things, suddenly Butler comes and decides to take Jirachi for a merry stroll. And by take him on a merry stroll, I mean put him in a capsule and hook him up to this very, very, very weird device, to which Diane has, just some doubts. It turns out our dear Butler here is someone who used to contend with the likes of Team Magma, trying to get them, well, you guessed it, Groudon.
Not in a conventional way, actually. That's what surprised me.
He wanted to make a Groudon for them, from a rock, interestingly enough. Needless to say, it didn't go well, and, well, Magma being Magma, I guess decided, oh, well, you tripped up this one time, we're going to kick you out and laugh at you the whole time. So, of course, Butler says, screw you guys, I'm gonna make my own Groudon, with blackjack and hookers. Honestly, I feel like it would have been just a better spit in the face if instead he went, I don't need this, I'm going to work for Team Aqua, and I'm gonna get them both Kyogre and a Groudon.
If he mispronounces Kyogre one more time, guys.
Anyway,
that's Butler's backstory, essentially. So he wants to use Jirachi's power to help, well, make a wish come true. Give himself a Groudon. Unfortunately,
it's even showcasing in kind of a graphic way, because Jirachi is strapped to this machine with like all of his, his arms tied and everything, and he has like this chest eye that gets forcefully open and projects a beam to the comet. It's fucking creepy.
It actually causes an explosion so bad that it manages to wreck Absol's cage and, well, pretty much wake up the rest of the Pokemon trainers to figure out that, yeah, Butler, you're kind of hurting Jirachi.
This is also thanks to the help of his assistant, which does have a change of heart.
Basically, Diane helps them escape while Butler gives chase with his own Pokemon. And I will give Butler this, he has a pretty well-rounded Pokemon team. He's got a Dusclops, he's got a Mightyena, and we'll see later. Huh?
A Kirlia.
Yeah. And, as we'll see later, a flipping dragon Pokemon. Like, kudos, man. You could maybe go to the Elite Four with that stuff. Regardless, though, he has Mightyena tail after them. They escape in the truck of his, but he attaches a tracker to it. Which means, yeah, stuff's going to have to deal here and there. So, basically, the company and mind come to an idea here. So, maybe we should get Jirachi back to his home, essentially. See, it turns out Diane and Butler got Jirachi's crystal from these far-off mystical lands here and there. Not too far off from Farina, essentially, in a means to try and awaken Jirachi. They haven't had much luck until now. So the idea would be to return it. And I'll admit, here's where I thought, oh god, this is gonna be where Max is all, no, I can't let him go, he's my friend, but no, surprisingly for the most part, Max is actually understanding that, yes, it might be better to get Jirachi back. Like, I could have...
I think it's helped by the fact that it takes actually a while to get to the place. So the group does have a couple of days to actually, settle in and realize with the idea, which also gives an excuse to May to flip more, slots over Dreamcatcher.
And also to play that awesome victory theme music. Which was it, Dej?
It's the Hoenn theme song. Yeah.
I forget. Is that like the theme used for the anime opening?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it sounds very nice and triumphant, and it's great for a montage as we go over here. But yeah, I mean, it was at this
It's called
point,
Advanced Adventure.
Advance Adventure. And meanwhile, Team Rocket and company are still following after them to the point where they're literally eating ramen noodles like they're watching a show here. To the point where one has to wonder, if Giovanni really is Ash's father, did he just hire Team Rocket to chase after them knowing they'd fail, but that this so they could keep an eye on his son?
Does that mean that
That's
Ash
a
and
weird
Silver are supposed to be,
implication,
brothers?
What? Why would Ash be brothers with them?
Silver, I mean, does this mean Ash and Silver are supposed to be brothers?
Was it confirmed that Silver is Giovanni's son?
Hard
Yes.
so Silver, yes, at the Celebi event that outright confirms that. Not to
Even
mention,
the manga confirmed that years ago.
and it's also reinforced most recently in Pokemon Masters X.
Well then, yeah, I guess they would be brothers then.
Go on.
Unless they reveal that Silver was Ash all along.
Sure.
Anyway, so yes, the journey is on here and there. The characters more or less bond over time, like, I'll admit, I mean, I could sum it up, but essentially it's more so them bonding, Max having some fun time with Jirachi, who's playful as usual and cute and whatnot, and yeah, we're more or less on the venture, all well and good, here and there, to the point where we do arrive in the mystical lands. I forget if they had a specific name, but we'll just call them the mystical lands, essentially.
Pedro, I think, okay, Deji and Pedro, I think you have the only, trivia about the Japanese version to mention around this point. There's a scene where Max and Ash sit at a bonfire. Apparently in the Japanese version, Ash refers in a more vague term to someone, a friend that he left behind, and 4Kids interpreted that as to say directly instead the name of Misty. I personally think it's fine either way.
I don't. Yeah, it's fine. Like it's a nice little moment, I guess, but it doesn't really it doesn't have any impact on the grand scheme of things for the movie itself.
Okay.
I guess it's nice that they've bothered to throw in a bone to Misty fans, but I don't care.
But it goes against the writer's original vision.
Oh, boo-hoo.
We're not doing this, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leave it where it's actually worth it.
I'm glad. Moving on.
Right, yeah, so we arrive in the mystical lands here. And okay, I will give the movie credit. At this point, it's not like they've relied on just battles to wow the audience, but there have actually been good character moments at this point. So it does excuse it for when things do go incredibly insane. So we arrive in the mystical lands here and there, and well, yeah, there's a Flygon. Remember that for later.
Yay.
I swear, Flygon is that weird Pokemon that, well, he's like the Steven Dorff of Pokemon. He keeps almost having a career, only no, like...
I will never forgive Game Freak for never actually give him, a Mega Evolution when he came to Gen 6. Because
but Tio, we couldn't think of something to give him.
Oh
God, Tio, it's my God, it's more frustrating in the anime.
And yet you gave Absol a Karen haircut.
Well, to be fair, we also gave him angel wings.
I'll just stop it here. Continue, Joe, please.
No. He's absolutely right. That was a pun. Dang it! Like, Flygon deserves better.
Yes, justice for Flygon.
So yeah, things all seem set here at the 50-minute mark, We're essentially ready to send Jirachi back. Max tearfully gives Jirachi his goodbye, and it all seems fine. And then it's revealed that the entire area we were in was actually just about of tarps and a little fakery set up by the magician Butler here. Like, god damn.
Getting away with it.
You know what? I'll give Butler this. Damn is he persistent, and damn is he dedicated to have made a cave replica with his magician tricks.
Well, we did, during the montage, his assistant does mention a bit more of his backstory, the fact that they knew each other since they were children, you know.
And he has been a magician, well, or at least aspired to be one since he was a kid.
There's this cute sequence where they actually showcase like kind of like silhouettes on a sunset inside of a big room where he performs a magic trick and everything. And I'm actually wondering why the product in either version never outright stated that the two were actually a couple, you know, instead of being, you know, just partners. Because this literally screams of childhood friends who become a couple when adults.
I mean, Tio, he literally has the supposed death scene where he says at least he can be with Diane. I always took that as the combination.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, they're a couple.
I know writers who use subtext and they're cowards.
But yeah, the small amount of tomfoolery from Butler's part.
And so now it's finally time to make a wish come true. It's time to create a grounding, and oh my god, what the hell is that? That is not a grounding. Oh my god, yeah. Okay.
Seriously, the movie goes from 0 to 100 in literally seconds.
This thing's kind of horrifying, actually.
It goes full Princess Mononoke by having these weird... It's kind of like the equivalent of that moment in Digimon Adventure 01, where Tai tries to forcefully super Digivolve, you know, Greymon, and he obtains Skullwall Greymon, and it's fucking horrifying. You know?
It's basically an homage to Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
Essentially, what happens is that Jirachi carves out a drawing in the ground to make a grounding for. So the form comes to.
Groudon, apparently.
Oh, I thought you said it was Virus Groudon.
Yeah, it's like I couldn't find a consistent name because, like, I saw a video that calls it Virus Groudon, and then I looked in Bulbapedia and it calls it Meta Groudon.
Is it called potentially Virus Groudon in Japanese version?
I don't know.
I'll admit, Virus Groudon is a better name for it, I think, than Metagroudon.
Whatever. Go on,
but
Trevor.
yeah, it seems like it's all fine. Until it completely isn't, because unlike Groudon, this thing looks more like Primal Groudon before actual Groudon.
Only made out of slime. Yeah, it even sprouts tentacles out of fucking nowhere.
Yes, it kind of becomes perfect chaos near the end.
Because a hentai monster.
Oh no.
I mean, it literally pulls people in and it undulates with them trapped inside blood cells.
Yeah, even Team Rocket gets snaggled in out of fucking nowhere.
Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's like Team Rocket barely do anything in these films.
Like, you know what?
Bad for them, honestly. Like,
yeah, to be honest, Edge, they actually did more stuff in this one.
For like the first 5 minutes.
Like, the more of these movies go by, I just feel bad for them. But yeah, go ahead, Jofa.
Well, I guess you might like the next movie in that case, Shuri. But regardless, yeah, I will give whoever came up with the design for this thing credit. They went all in with the body horror, cause holy cow. And this thing wants nothing more than to literally destroy everything. Like, I do wonder if the insinuation is that the thing created by the wish is, well, in pain. Which is why... Okay, this goes back to what I mentioned earlier, essentially, with how I feel about the wish-making here. Like, I like to believe that it's not so much in Jirachi's control, but it's just like when he wills a wish to be made, his powers go haywire or whatnot, because... Yeah, I don't think he willingly made that thing the way it was.
I also wonder if Hideaki Anno took inspiration from this for his own version of Godzilla in Shin Godzilla, because there are actually some similarities.
That would explain a lot, honestly. So essentially, this thing needs energy.
Yeah.
And it is literally going to take all the energy of the Earth. And it will assimilate everyone it can in. And people do get nabbed up. Like, even if you're a major character, they get the suck and the implement. To the point where, yes, even Team Rocket get added in on the fun here and there. So, who comes to the rescue? Not Absol, even though he tries. Oh, yeah, that's right. We forgot to mention Absol's deal in this film. So apparently, in this film, the reason Absol's around is because Absol can always sense when disaster is about to strike.
That's apparently also in his Pokédex entry.
Ergo, when Butler was trying to originally use Jirachi here, hence why Jirachi attacked in the first place. He wasn't so much trying to kill Max and Jirachi, but he was trying to prevent Jirachi being used for Well Vista. Shame that he pretty much gets pwned by this meta Groudon relatively quickly. No, you want to know the Pokemon that actually does end up helping more against Groudon? It's Flygon.
Yes.
Yeah, because Flygon's based.
Yes, we didn't even mention this, but in the meantime, Butler also has the Pokemon that Joel was foreshadowing is actually a Salamence, of all things.
Yeah, pretty powerful dragon type.
Yeah, so basically they use the Ash gets onto Flygon, Ancient Max, sorry, get on Flygon while Butler will use Salamence to distract the gooey Groudon.
Oh yeah, essentially Butler finally has a change of heart when he sees that maybe his wish got a little out of hand. Oh, and the love of his life also gets sucked up by it too.
I dreamed of creating the world's strongest Pokemon, and I succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, geez, I think that thing could give even Mewtwo a run for his money, honestly. But, yeah. So anyway, they have to work together here, and it takes a lot, to the point where Flygon eventually does get absorbed, and even Butler gets absorbed, saying that at least he can be with Diane. Like, holy crap, we just had a character saying, you know what, if I die, at least I can be with the one I love, essentially.
She says that in the Japanese version, but yeah, she doesn't say die in the dub, but yeah, she actually does say that in the Japanese version.
And there's also the fact that they actually, thanks also to Jirachi's wishes, they actually use the teleportation in clever ways, like try to actually escape while being assimilated. So there is
instant
that.
Transmission.
Mm-hmm. Basically.
Technically. So anyway, the heroes are thankfully able to use Butler's machine to reverse engineer the situation, which thankfully defeats the evil Groudon here and reduces it back to nothing. While thankfully also dropping everyone safely, teleporting them back.
If I recall correctly, we just kind of cut off in how they get rescued. We just, it just implied that they managed to be rescued pretty clean.
To be fair, we do see them get teleported back in flashes of light. Essentially, go lying down on the ground here and there. So it's overall fine. And Butler finally gives up on that wish and realizes that maybe trying to impress Team Magma is not worth it. I'm sure hope that Team Magma won't do something equally or even more stupid with the real Groudon. Right, Dej?
Yeah, sure.
So, now for reals, it's time to say goodbye to Jirachi. And once again, Jirachi has one wish to make from Max this time. He wants Max and company to sing for him to help make the goodbye flow better. So once again, we bring back the lullaby that May was singing earlier, only this time everyone sings it together. And we get some nice music to go with it. And Jirachi goes back to crystal form and goes back beneath the earth, to which a Max tearfully says goodbye to him.
And that's pretty much it. Oh, no, right, we need the payoff. So, you want to know what was the payoff with May's, Dreamcatcher Wishmaker?
Absolutely nothing.
She really remembers, but she forgot to actually, click it for last night. And the other's like, well, it wasn't probably important because the real wish was in your heart or some bullshit like that.
No, the thing is, well, we all gotta make our wishes come true by actually
honestly,
the movie just basically cops out of that big time.
It's like the filmmakers forgot about that stuff.
Honestly, I get what they were going for. You just know it's like it's up to you to do these things yourself. But it felt kind of like they kept bringing it up throughout the movie, and then oh well.
Again,
you know what would have been better?
It's a check gun that doesn't shoot.
Yeah,
let me get
that.
if when May saw after everything, May was like, "Nope, nah, I'm not gonna wish for anything. I'm just going to."
That would have been much better.
I refer instead to what Grant Morrison did with the Miracle Machine in Final Crisis. The more moral could have been that secretly May had managed to do it, and what she'd wish for a happy ending. I guess that could have worked just better, but instead of anything could have worked better than just saying, "Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter." But yeah, that's pretty much.
Still a better Wish movie than Wonder Woman 84.
The guys just are back on their main way, and we just run very casually into the Native American stereotype. That's it.
So yeah, that is
Jirachi
that's more or less
Wishmaker.
it. I mean, granted, we do get some after-credit stuff, or during the credits movie stuff here and there, with, the lyrical version of the tune that's been given before here and there. And we even get a return of the guy who sold May the not Dreamcatcher here as he gives them a ride after May collapses from exhaustion. And then we get to see constellations, which are some real constellations, but this time tethered to Pokemon. And then we see a scene of Ash and company, sunbathing near a rock quarry beach. And, oh, by the way, fireworks, too, of Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the song that plays was an English version of the Japanese song that played.
Kudos, yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess
Both
this is also a good point.
Credits.
Yeah, that is a good point to mention that. This movie pretty much... Well, okay, the show technically already did it, but movie-wise, this movie marked pretty much the synchronization of the English and Japanese elements when it came to stuff like the music.
Yeah, basically, the Japanese version has... Honestly, the only real differences is dialogue in general. Like I said, like Jova said, in the Japanese version, Diane actually does say the word die, but again... 4Kids doesn't like that word, so...
Yeah, honestly, you don't always have to be blatant with it. And I was mostly referring to what Butler said in that regard, that he said, at least he can be with the woman he loves, which more or less did imply death, yeah, so... Yeah, honestly, I chalk this up more to about here, and to be fair, 4Kids have said the word die before.
Alright, so I have some trivia for you. You want to hear the funny one or the sad one first?
Sad one first.
Yeah, let's go with the sad one first.
Okay, hold on, let me... Crap, I was on the page. I was honestly prepared for the... Alright, so in the Japanese version, this was the last movie that Tomiko Suzuki, the voice of Jirachi, lent her voice, because unfortunately she died of a heart attack a week after the movie came out.
Damn.
Yeah. And I don't know how to break the funny one now because it's like
just go to the funny one to lighten the mood.
Oh, you were saying, Teo?
Didn't you say something about normal boots like 4 movies ago, Dad?
Yes, but God.
True, you did.
No, that was them being tone deaf.
It was just a cheap jab. Ignore me, Dad. Yeah. Please tell us.
Alright. Here's the German box art for the movie.
Oh boy.
Oh dear, let's see.
Gotta see this.
I mean, how bad could it be?
Someone got ahead of themselves.
That's not Jirachi Wishmaker, in fact.
Yeah, that's the next movie, Destiny Deoxys.
I'm sorry, what?
Like, what?
Wait, they actually used that for this movie?
Why?
It was a mistake.
Oh my god, guys, Rayquaza is finally going to do something in the Jirachi Wishmaker movie. I can't believe it.
Are you sure it's not like a bootleg?
Nope, this is what Bulbapedia showed me.
Well, that's the thing too.
Germany does tend to do some of those weird things.
Yeah, they do. A lot of European releases of movies back in the day did suffer from this problem too. Oh, okay. Yeah, basically.
And another thing, so you know how Butler tells his Dusclops to use a magic trick to attack Team Rocket? So in the Japanese version, he says, Onibi, which means will-o-wisp in Japanese. So we don't know what that...
That was the attack that he used. I did notice while we were watching the movie, it's like, that's the move that causes the burn, debuff. That's will-o-wisp.
We don't know how it got into that script. I guess it was like, oh, what's it be? Magic mumbo jumbo. It's like, no.
But yeah, overall, I'm gonna say it. It's a good Pokemon movie. Heck, it's a good movie even on its own. Now, it's not the most amazing thing, but I was genuinely surprised in that I was legit having a good time when we rewatched it for this podcast, essentially, here and there. Like, it has good enough plot, good enough structure, the characters get enough well-rounding to them, and Max's friendship with Jirachi is not as annoying as I remembered it being. Thankfully Max doesn't go all Chris Thorndike on the situation, so that does help.
Yes,
alright, so it's time for the Tracy Sketchum Award, which we talk about who was the worst character in this movie.
Shoot, this might actually be tough because I can't really consider them as really bad characters.
Yeah, so who wants to go first?
I'm gonna go with a cheap one just because it's very more obvious, and rather than being just a bad character, it's just like something that's noticeable. I'm gonna go with the Native American stereotype for the implications, but that's borderline not even borderline. That's properly just nitpicky. That's really because I don't think there's any other major character that I can consider really that bad.
Yeah.
I guess for me, I guess maybe Maxie, assuming he was the guy who berated Butler.
The sub's credited as the Team Magma leader, so he has to be him.
Sure.
Okay then, Shiroi, you next.
Are we allowed to pick the same characters, or are we still
Yes, because when there's barely anyone, it's fine.
I'll say I'll go with Tio's pick as well, because that's just...
Alright, Pedro, who was your least favorite character in this movie?
My least favorite character, I'm gonna have to go with Jirachi himself, because I think, all he is just cute, and that's it. Again, it's the same problem I have with other types of characters whenever Japanese writers start to do this kind of thing, where they just rely on the cuteness factor instead of making him a complex character. But and honestly, I don't really care, to be honest. He's just like you said, his design looks cute and everything, but that's about it, really. In terms of personality, as little. So
hey, Dej.
Don't really care. And he's a title character. So
hey, Dej.
Yeah.
Dej. Would it be cheating if, going off of the German version, I said my least favorite character was Rayquaza for not
Sure, why not? if it means anything, audience, the movie did the Jeremy movie did re-release it
with a proper cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just like a first print. It was like, how did you mess that up? All right.
Okay. Because that's the thing. This movie was released in 2003. The internet was growing, but I don't think it was to the point where everyone was always as up-to-date as we are now with this sort of stuff. So I can only imagine the confusion that must have arisen when people get the movie with this cover. And then, let's see, Munchlax does not show up. Deoxys is absent. Rayquaza is a no-show. Min and Max are definitely not there.
Did you say Min?
Well, of course she's not in, but no, I'm talking about the Min and Max Pikachus.
Plazul and Minun.
That's their name, yeah. Jeez. And hey, what about that blue-haired boy? He certainly doesn't show up in the movie.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay, that leaves you, Dej.
Actually, right, yeah, sure.
Wait, did Jova go?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, alright, sorry. I got distracted. Team Magma as a whole, because they're idiots.
It's more, they're more of a catalyst than anything.
No, I'm just talking about their entire plan. It's like, we want to make Groudon. Why? So we can create more landmass.
Also, the way they, not just that, the way they also plan, contrary to the games where they literally have their hideout in the middle of an active volcano, and everything, or at worst, if you're not gonna put the original Ruby and Sapphire, it's way later, it's like more of a port base. In this movie, it's located, it's showcased like it's a fucking dome. Like we're watching, like we're fucking, Council of Humanity in Evangelion. Like, what the fuck?
Anyway, Palpatine's fort.
Yeah, the Senate, the Republic Senate, right?
No, and the Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
Team Magma, elves, all of them. They doomed humanity. Okay. So next is the Muto Award, who you choose for best character. Who wants to go first?
I have an easy one, just out of bias alone, but thankfully because also what he does in the movie, Flygon. Like, very easy picking. He's really great. He does. He actually surprisingly becomes basically the MVP of the entire bonds, which is also showcased by another thing to know that I didn't notice. Neither Ash, I don't think any of the three main characters use their Pokemons aside from Pikachu. Like, Ash doesn't certainly use any of them. Brock doesn't, and I don't think even
May used her Torchic against the Absol.
Right, May used the Torchic against Absol. You're right, but still, like Ash and Brock don't really use their Pokemons aside from
at this
Pikachu.
point, I think Brock only had he had three. He had Fortress, Mudkip, and Lotad. Yeah, he gave Onyx to his brother and left Onyx and Geodude to his brother, left Zubat behind. Golbat behind. Crobat. Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Flygon for me. Next.
Sure. For me?
Oh yeah, Pedro. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go by default and just pick Butler because he's the most fleshed out character, if anything, because he's given a full blown backstory. But I just wish there would be it's kind of weird the fact that they give him all that backstory and they do give him redemption technically. It's just that there's not enough payoff at the end of it. Like, yeah, they get back together again, but there's like it feels like it still feels a bit undercooked.
No one got hurt.
No,
and it's like, here's the thing: the movie Jirachi does say he's not evil. He's just very, very misguided.
Yeah, I know. I fail to realize what that has to do with what I'm saying, though.
In terms of what he did, is that what you're trying to say? Like, you thought
no, that's not. No, I'm aware. I'm perfectly aware that his arc is an arc of redemption. That's not the case. What I'm saying is that his pay, like, I still feel like it would have been even better, like, if instead of him just helping, I feel like he doing it all himself would have made his redemption arc resonate more. Like, he's the one that actually indeed stops evil ground on thing. I feel like that should have been, because if there's a main character in this movie, it's definitely him, because he's the only one who actually goes through any kind of arc. A fully formed arc with a beginning, middle, and end. So I feel like, but aside from that, no, that's basically by default. I'm gonna go with Butler.
Yeah.
Go on.
Aha.
Sure.
Like, there isn't anybody who's like. I agree with Pedro on what he said, but there isn't really anybody, including Butler, who is like an amazing character, at least as far as I'm concerned. So
it's more like they're all fine, but nobody really stands out as being uber amazing.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because they could, if this movie took a bit more in the oven, just a bit more, it could have easily got for that. But this movie needed one more draft.
If I may,
yeah,
this movie, to compare this movie to, like, say, something like The Power of One here and there, You know the old saying that something is more consistent but doesn't have the same highs and lows as something? That is what I feel like is the case with this movie. Like, it's a perfectly fine, I dare even say good film, but it's like, it feels consistent in the sense like, well, it's like, well, it stays in this one consistent area, but it never feels like it rises or falls above or below that area. Which,
It doesn't do anything bad, but at the same time, it doesn't do anything great either.
I do have a pick, though, at least.
Oh, sure. Go on, Shirai.
Thank you to Jova giving me a bit more time to think about it.
You're welcome.
I'll say Max, because, and this is probably a pretty stupid reason, but considering, his whole deal in this story, he could have easily been a Chris Thorndike, but he was not a Chris Thorndike, and I am very thankful for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't consider that a point worthy of praise. Congrats, you're not Chris Thorndike.
I mean, okay.
If the quality appeals to movies, Pedro, I think we should be great even for mediocrity.
Okay. Okay.
Let Pedro finish his sentence first, Jova.
I'm sorry, Theo, but I refuse to settle for mediocrity.
Like, I'll do one better for you there. It ain't mediocrity, but here's the thing. A lot of anime was doing that around the time, so the fact that this one defied that anime trope is something I'm more impressed with than rather just it being better than the last 2 Pokemon movies, because, well, okay, and to be fair, that's counting the theatrical ones, because there was also that god-awful Legend of Thunder Power Crystal thingamabobber thing that we looked at, devastating as it was, but yeah, no, I mean, no. I'd say the more impressive thing to Shiroi's credit is that a lot of anime were doing it for some reason. Oh god, come to think of it, Sonic X, didn't that start in 2003 as well?
Yeah.
I thought it was
honestly,
2000 no, it wasn't 2002, it's a bit early.
Yeah, it is true that a lot of anime was doing it at the time, but at the same avoiding something bad, in my opinion, is not something worthy of praise.
I would also give Max credit in, like, well, I actually did buy him having a friendly enough relationship with Jirachi. Sure, Jirachi may have not gotten the most fleshing out, but I can at least appreciate that they did take better time to develop the bond between Max and Jirachi than the bond between Sam, Ash, and Celebi.
That's not saying much, but sure.
But yeah, that's it for my pick.
Okay.
Right,
no, obviously I was BRB, so what does everyone else pick so far?
Best character.
No, I know what category
Flygon, Butler, and Max.
Damn it, I was gonna pick Flygon. Okay.
Get bets.
You know what? Fine, I'll say it. Metagroudon. Like, Metagroudon is actually a pretty neat antagonist to fight in the climax here and there. Cool design, kick-ass powers here and there, and he really does put up a fight and is a legit good challenge to go up against. Not only that, but it really does poke at the envelope at what we could fight as Pokemon. It kind of goes back to how I wish we'd gotten to fight you-know-what in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Like, for those who haven't played it, you may not know, but for those who played, you probably do know what I'm talking about.
The game is half a decade old, and even the anime had shown it off, so it's like Lucame.
Yes. Wait, did they actually fight Lucamine in the anime?
Yes, Ash uses the 1 million Volt Z move on her.
Yeah. But yeah, seriously though, I mean, stuff like this, and again, I wonder if maybe they got some of the ideas of the primal Groudon and Kyogre versions from this thing, because it does feel like a prototype of it. But yeah, no, Metagroudon is
honestly, I kind of wish that they used this design for Groudon's Gigantamax form.
Have they made him a Gigantamax form yet?
Nope.
No.
Maybe they will.
No, Jova, give it one generation and Game Freak will pretend it doesn't exist and it will introduce a new gimmick.
Hey, Mega Evolution is still technically around. They just haven't made it.
Yeah, it's in everything except for the main games. It's in the anime. In fact, at the time of this recording, yesterday's Pokemon episode was Ash's Mega Lucario against B's Gigantamax Machamp.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So anyway, though, yeah, that's my favorite character.
Good, Dodge.
So, should I choose Brock? But then again, he's a beta male in this.
Look.
Okay,
Brock
actually,
can still be
Brock
awesome.
Brock doesn't do really anything in this movie.
Man, we probably should have put him in worst character.
No. Even when he doesn't do much, he's still not as useless as Tracy. You know I'm right.
Okay, so it's a small thing, but I did like the character. I'm gonna say Ash probably because of his character moment with Max, and it shows how far he's come from the brash, arrogant person he was in the very beginning of the series.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
There we
Alright,
go.
now it's
So basically, your answer was Ash.
yeah. All right, so
I mean, you know what? Kudos, yeah.
And he got to ride
actually-
Flygon. Get bent. So I technically win.
Actually, you know what? It's funnily enough, but I think this is the first Pokemon movie that hasn't centered around Ash. Like, it felt more like it centered around Max than Ash, and
Yeah, this is also the first Pokemon movie where Ash doesn't punch something.
Yeah,
He
he
really is
actually
learning.
hasn't.
He didn't tackle anything.
Yay.
The cycle is
to be
broken.
fair, if he had tried to tackle Metagroudon, he'd literally have been eaten up for breakfast.
What about Butler's
So-
machine? He's tackled machines before.
Yeah, Pikachu handled that with a simple shock.
But the movie's ruined now.
Yeah,
You see, Shiroi,
man, I can't believe you all
Characterization
unanimously gave
marches
this a 0.
on.
All right, now
So-
it's time for worst scene. This is the scene that we thought, was bad. Pedro, you want to go first?
The worst scene. I guess the fact that they have a Chekhov's gun but they don't shoot it with May, where
Is that
I-
really a
like with-
scene?
the scene where they reveal, oh, okay, whatever. Well, it's the
Yeah.
it's the
It
it's
is
the
a
worst
scene,
scene that I
yeah.
could.
Okay,
Well, it's
okay,
the worst scene that I can
now
think
that's
of.
a scene, yeah. Okay. Now that's a scene. It's just like, well, originally it sounded like you were talking more so about the concept than the scene.
I mean, it's the worst scene that I can think of, considering everything else in this movie is so inoffensive to the point where it's not even worth talking about. But yeah, like you bother to set up that and even reinforce it by having her only then to cop out and do the whole, oh, it's in the heart shit, and then I'm just like, no, well, like, come on, like you deliberately wasted our time. You should have actually that would have been an opportunity to flesh out her character a bit more by revealing what is her secret greatest wish or something like that. But no, I guess it's like they had an idea for something, but then they either forgot or couldn't come up with something at the end of the day. I don't. It's baffling, and it's just whatever. Like, but that's like the worst. I know it's no big deal, but again, it's the worst thing I can think of.
Yeah, you kind of really have to think hard on stuff that sucks in this movie. Anything else?
It's because so much. It's because everything in this movie is underwhelming at worst. So
Mhm. So
and that's it.
Tio?
Next.
Sure. Okay, I did wanted to pick that one, so let me think of because no,
That's probably all our sync picks.
yeah. But again, I kinda agree on that because again, it really feels like that's the only major thing in the movie that we genuinely forgot rather than commit through it in the end, even a joke or anything. No. But
Hey, Dad, are you gonna allow repeats on this as well?
Sure. Oh, Grant, I'm sure there's plenty of other scenes.
Well,
that we
I'm
can
playing.
do.
I'm hardcore. I want to pick, pick hard or pick something else. So, I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the scene again. The fact that as soon as the fact that the movie doesn't explain that much, how just the cage alone manages to, make Absol kind of an idiot during the scene in the tent. Because like I said, the movie presented Absol with the right tool for getting out, but for convenience sake, he doesn't.
I'd argue against that because, again, it is implied that the cage is
Jova,
when
a product has an element that does specifically what you just said, like say One Piece with the sea mineral, very specifically designed against the devil fruits, owners. They bother to actually mention it. Butler just mentions that it's a cage that he kept hidden because magicians and everything. That's it.
I suppose the idea is to infer it, as you would suggest in some cases here and there, but again, I guess it does depend on whatnot.
But that's for me. That's someone else. Next.
Jirachi?
I would say Team Rocket planning on doing something and then they automatically get captured. Offhand didn't really do much. Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
Shiroi?
Okay.
I don't know. This movie does kind of run aside from, that one instance with the giant creepy as all hell thing. This movie kind of does run on a straight line. Okay, I guess the scene where I don't know her name. I'm so sorry. Butler's girlfriend.
Diana.
Yeah, when she gets captured by the thing, because I feel like I should have felt a bit more about that, but considering we heard a lot about him from her, but I don't think we got enough of the two on screen together.
The reason you don't.
What?
The reason you don't feel anything is because while they did tell us Butler's backstory, even from her perspective, they didn't give us any insight into their relationship, how they first met. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, basically that. Because, I get what you mean about Max and Jirachi, but at least they're on screen for what I feel is a reasonable enough amount of time. Yeah, all they're doing is being cute, but at least, they had some screen time, whereas we didn't really get a lot about those two as a couple with other than, we know that they're a couple. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, Jova.
Worst scene, Jova. Come on.
God, this is really going to be tough. I mean, I could easily say the lack of payoff with the Dreamcatcher thing, but screw it, I guess I'm going to try and think of something else. I guess Absol just jobbing after all his build-up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even something that really bugged me that much because I'm not a big Absol fanboy or whatnot. But it's just I kind of do feel a bit sorry for Absol because if any Pokemon aside from Jirachi and Pikachu got to star in this movie, it was Flygon instead of Absol.
That's also a good
Chadgon.
That's also a good question. Is Absol also on the poster of the official poster of the movie? Just out of curiosity.
Let me check. Yeah, I'm on the page. I'm just at the very bottom because I was looking at the trivia.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
actually, yeah. It's actually kind of misleading, actually.
Show it to us, please.
Okay. There you go. Loading. There.
Huh. The Groudon on this one, okay.
Looks like the normal one.
Well, okay, not completely like the normal one because its underbelly looks very dark instead of lighter like
I'm sure
Groudon.
that has to do with the lighting more than anything.
Probably.
He doesn't look entirely like the real one, although to be fair, I can sort of forgive that as a sake for them trying to hide the truth behind the extra Groudon in this, so fair beans. But, man, I love how Absol is bigger than Flygon in this poster when, Yeah!
I
Sorry,
like how
dude.
Mudkip and Trika are on this, even though they're barely in the movie, or not even in the movie at all.
No, they're not
No,
present at
no.
all.
They were in. They were in, technically.
Were they in the montage, maybe? I
forget,
honestly can't remember.
Was Trico used during the battle against Team Rocket?
No.
No.
Ash just uses Pikachu and Butler
He was going to
orders
use. He was going to use another one. Then Butler's like, "Ah, don't worry, I got it."
Yeah, he uses both Kirlia and Dusclops.
But, yeah. There's my worst scene. Absol chopping. Sorry, dude. You just couldn't cut it and Flygon took your glory.
Alright, that's so I guess the next one is the...
That's right,
the
best scene. Which is...
Oh, this one actually will be easy for me.
Alright, then, go ahead.
Best scene, easily the climax. Cause seriously, Metagroudon is freaky as heck, and I love that they don't pull any punches with it either. Like, it is a serious threat and one that needs to be dealt with. And the way they deal with it is pretty clever and whatnot. Gives us good action and spectacle, while also at least having enough of a story that I do feel like I could at least care more than with Power of One, in the sense where, okay, Power of One wasn't necessarily bad, but I do feel like Power of One focused strictly more on the spectacle than, having a coherent narrative and story. Whereas this one, I felt like I could actually care that the characters were in danger this time. And hey, the Pokemon actually helped out instead of just standing there and doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking Gyarados. Next.
I guess for me, normally I would also put the climax, because the climax is by far the most memorable part of this movie. Favorite scene, I guess both of Butler's flashbacks, because that's the movie at its most. That's the movie at its most narrative driven. That it is. So like it doesn't end up leading to a spectacular payoff or anything, but I guess that's something. That's it. Go on. Shirai? Best scene.
Best scene.
The fact that it ended, maybe?
Nah. This movie was honestly, I fairly enjoyed this movie. I have to say.
Sure.
I guess the scene with the Eldritch Abomination, just because that thing is goopy and creepy as all heck.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it, but at the same time, ugh. That's enough of that. Thank you.
I'm sure H.R. Geiger would have approved.
There we go.
Tio.
Okay, I guess I'll do next. I guess I have to mention the climax as well, but more in a sense of how, again, the tone shifts out of fucking nowhere. It literally blindsides you, but arguably in a very good way, because you're very on track for most of the movie, and then out of fucking nowhere, it dumps you with this Princess Mononoke climax that you really were not expecting, considering the circumstance. Because, again, the only thing that the movie has foreshadowed is that the wishes can go bad, yes, and that Butler wants Groudon. But not the fact that the wish going bad for Groudon turns him into this gel monster that assimilates fucking everyone like it's a fucking blob.
I think what also helps was that it's not completely out of place, because it is still tied with stuff, so it doesn't feel like, oh, we're just throwing this in just cause. Like, it also feels like there is good reasoning for it, too.
Also, there's a bit of a reference to the actual existing Nazca lines when Groudon actually gets summoned. I guess that's interesting, especially considering the Nazca lines are in the Pokemon mythos are more associated with Xatu more than anything. That's weird. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me as well. Dej.
Alright, time to cheat. I'm gonna say the very beginning of the movie when we saw Brandon using that double battle.
That's not really cheating.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
Nah, you're fine. So, shall we tally up our
Final
scores
thoughts?
then? Oh,
yeah, final thoughts and score. Tio, you go first.
Yeah, the usual, because mine is not canon anyway. Again, pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting a complete disaster because, again, topping heroes is gonna be hard for the time being in terms of just being very bad and disgusting. I'm pretty confident that some of the next movies will be bad. But I don't think for the time being on that kind of quality. But regardless, this is perfectly serviceable. This, and I mean in a little way, because like we basically mentioned, the movie is effectively harmless in any kind of way, but as a result it doesn't actually shine on anything in particular aside from what we just said about the climax. But I did still had a positive outcome of it. So my score again, keep in mind all this, I'm not really great at doing this, but my score reflects this with a 6.5 out of 10. Again,
So, not
sufficient,
enough
as they will
water.
say.
Gotcha.
They will save my country, goddamn. But it's
That
all
reminds
right,
me-
I want my goddamn water. Where was the water? There.
Don't
Hydrate
worry,
or dehydrate.
Don't worry, Tio. We'll do that once we get some Manaphy.
Next.
Also, I put the
Dad, just checking. Are we
I put the Google Sheets thing there.
Alright.
So, just in case.
Dads, just checking. Are we allowed to do half-point scores?
I
one
kind
and a half,
of don't want to.
All right. So we'll keep it at full numbers.
Yeah.
Got it. Tio's doesn't count because guessed.
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
Yeah, that's why he can have the point,
Pedro, why don't you go first?
Okay. Remind me again what we're doing now?
We're giving our scores for this movie.
Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
kind of lost my bearings.
That's okay,
I
it's
kinda-
okay.
I kind of lost my bearings there for a moment.
That's all right. Happens to the best of us.
It's overall the movie is just a movie that exists. It doesn't do anything particularly bad, but it doesn't do anything particularly all that good either. It's just a movie that exists, and it has a really cool, visually cool climax, taking inspiration from Ghibli. But it's a movie that has all the necessary elements for a good narrative, for a great narrative, but it doesn't really go all the way with them. It doesn't flesh them out nearly as much as it could. And as a result, it's just a movie that exists. It's average, and that's about it. But yeah, the visual spectacle is the best we've had in a while in these movies. So there's that. That's honestly, if the climax was as underwhelming as some of the movies we've seen past movie free, yeah, this definitely would have been hard. This would have been a harder movie to not tear into, because the climax is basically what saves this movie, basically. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to go with a very, very hard on 5.0. Like it's a very average movie that exists. That's all I can say.
All right, sure, Joe. Which one?
Jova, please.
Sure, I'll go next. Honestly, it's a good movie. Again, I'll admit, it doesn't do anything highly remarkable. It also, thankfully, avoids doing anything ungodly stupid. But, no, I mean, it's not just mediocre. It's a legit good movie. I do wish it could have gone a bit higher in some regards. But after the last two Pokemon movies, this is a well-welcomed change of form to which it would get better. And since I definitely have a good idea of how the next two movies are, it was a sign of things to come. Again, the animation is pretty good. The music is nice. The characters do get, I feel, enough moments for me to at least worry about their survival in the climax. And holy cow, that climax! That is legit one of the best climaxes in Pokemon I've seen. And it's very creative. That's one thing I'll give this movie. It does think of nice and creative ideas and methods to carry out stuff here and there. It comes up with a clever enough explanation for why we don't just abuse the wishing stuff from Jirachi, and not in your typical, oh, he's a jackass about a thing, but no, legit, his wishes always come at a price in a creative way here and there. Butler's backstory is interestingly enough, so he's a fair enough antagonist until, holy cow, Metagroudon Metagroudon comes about, and oh boy is he ferocious. Overall, yeah, it's a pretty good flick, and I was genuinely surprised at how well they handled Max in this. Like, I recall being annoyed by the half-pint, but no, honestly, he's handled pretty fine here and there. And again, it went against the usual anime cliche of, oh, this character can't let a person go to the point where they do something heavily detrimental to everyone involved. Like, no, Max is understanding of it, and while he does fight against it for a little bit, it's your typical, he gets it eventually. So yeah.
And then he stole
Overall-
Ash's gym badge.
Wait, what?
TV show drama, Tio. TV show drama.
Oh, basically because, Norman's the dad. Ash beat him in a gym match, and he couldn't cope with that.
Yeah.
Is Max, how old is Max supposed to be anyway?
Like 6?
Oh, so he cannot be even be a trainer tech.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. It's good, it's fine. It doesn't quite reach the levels of, say, an 8 or 9, though, because, let's be honest, it's not amazing, per se. But I do feel like it actually makes sure... It remembers to have a plot better than the Power of One did. Power of One did have a lot of spectacle, but by God, the villain just sucked. A lot of the plot just sucked.
What plot? Like there's a fetch there's a fetch quest to get free MacGuffins, and that's literally it.
Like I said, good
barely
old
a
Lawrence the
plot.
Third wants to get these magical god chickens
All these
to
giant
fight.
airship.
Like, and again, they gave him such flimsy reasons here and there. Like here, no, I would argue people at least had good enough reasons for the stuff they did, plot-wise. So again, it's a movie that remembers to have a plot. I can't really raise it above a 7, though, because for as much as I did enjoy it, it's not like it was the super amazing movie to end all movies, let alone Pokemon movies. It's just that it was a good sign of things to come, and it was a good movie in and of its right. But yeah, 7 out of 10. And trust me, that's quite a step up from my last score, which I believe was literally a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, and the one before that, you gave a 2.
Yeah, and I gave Pokemon Forever a 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
I still can't believe our score somehow gave Pokemon 5 a higher score than Pokemon Forever, though. Regardless, though, there's my score, 7 out of 10. Who's next?
Alright, I'll go. Jirachi Wishmaker is a pretty fine movie. It's probably the best Pokemon movie that we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
But like I have to echo Pedro about it. There were neat the perfect setup for something greater, and it just didn't reach those highs. But for what it did, especially with the climax and the climax and Butler's backstory, it did a fine job. So I'll be nice and give it a 6.
Shiroi, that leaves you, I guess.
Alright, well, I did enjoy this one a lot more than I expected. And not in the sense that, the last few movies were, so bad or mediocre that the bar was low kind of thing. But no, I actually found that I legitimately enjoyed my time with this movie. Even if, yes, it is very clearly underdeveloped. But if Jova's right about the next movies being better, I feel like this is fine. They're actually getting back on track, it seems, at least for now. I don't really have much else to say. It was just, no, this was a nice movie. It was a surprise, and I had no expectations going into it. Although I did like the characters a lot more than some of you guys let on. So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tio.
No, don't apologize.
No,
It's
wait,
your opinion. No one judges you.
No, I am going to apologize for this one because we do this a lot in these podcasts. So I'm sorry, Tio, but for the sake of the audience, before we started watching the movie, was kind of given the implication that Max was all of Misty's bad qualities, but no, he's nothing like that. He's much better than Misty.
In this movie.
Okay, well, if he's crap in other movies, then fair enough. But first impressions, like, the kid is fine. Like,
I'm gonna also, Dej, despite Max accompanying some of Misty's bad qualities, I'm gonna say overall he's still better than Misty.
but I'm just apologizing for shitting on Misty again.
Yeah, understandable.
I understand, Shiro. Don't worry.
as Tio makes a Shiroi voodoo doll.
No, Dej, I have something better to do with my time.
Those
But no,
cement
that's
shoes
it
are
for my
nice.
opinion. And for my score, this one's actually getting a 6.
Alright. So, 6, 6, 5, 7.
No Satan.
Thank
What a
God.
shame.
I'm surprised though that you guys scored it on the same level as the first Pokemon movie, given the problems you had with that one.
So, this gets a
Well, like
24,
yourself said,
and
like-
it went up by 11 points compared to the last movie.
Ha!
Oh, what a
Yourself said, Joe,
shock!
but, like, well, the first movie has many more highs than this one does. It's just that this one actually has
True,
the
that
advantage
is a
of not
good
having the
point.
lows that the first movie has. So it really is one of those cases where it manages to even itself out by not by doing better, but by just not doing as badly. So
I will
Yeah.
give this movie credit though. I actually do prefer its climax over Pokemon the first movie's climax.
well, yeah. The first climax of the first movie is garbage, so that's not really the.
So, our ranking from worst to best is The Legend of Thunder with 4 points. Then, Pokemon Heroes with 13 points. Celebi, Voice of the Forest with 18 points. Pokemon The Power of One with 23 points.
I'm so sorry, Dej.
Whatever. And we have a tie with Mewtwo Returns and Jirachi Wishmaker sitting at 24 points.
Wait, hold on. But I recalled giving that one a 6 out of 10, so...
Because...
Who gave...
Wait, Returns?
Oh, wait. Hold on, wait. Are you saying that Jirachi Wishmaker is tied with Mewtwo
Yeah.
Returns? And they're... Oh, okay. For a moment I thought you said it was tied with the first movie.
No. Tied with Mewtwo Returns, both having a 24. Then it's Mewtwo Straight Back with a 25.
Huh.
And
How did that...
obviously Pokemon Free, Spell of the Unknown with a 34.
Okay, remind me, how did Strikes Back score above those two?
Because Shiro gave... You, me, and Pedro gave it a 6. Shiro gave it a 7. It's on the Google sheet. It's right here.
Wait. Yeah, let me see the Google sheet.
Well,
Jova, 666, Satan means 18 plus 7, 25.
Thank you for that contribution. Ah,
It
right,
seemed
that's
when you
right.
needed it.
So literally this was 1 point off from tying with Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And of course up top is Spell of the Unknown.
Yeah.
Alright, so what's in store then for Ash and Diablos in the future?
Crap. I didn't have time to write it
Allow me. Tune in next time, viewers, for when Rayquaza finally does something assimilated to his job.
Fighting aliens. That's Beerly's job.
He is one of many jobs. We'll see you next time for Destiny Deoxys.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah.
What,
And
anticlimactic
that's a
ends.
wrap.
See you. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.